The Angry Chicken is a production of Amove TV. Bookmark amove.tv for more gaming and esports shows. Want to support The Angry Chicken? Go to patreon.com/TAC to become a TAC patron. We'd like to thank everyone who's supporting us on Patreon. The Angry Chicken is also sponsored by DoghouseSystems.com. You can use the code TAC to get double memory on your next gaming PC and support The Angry Chicken in the process.
Well met. A podcast about Hearthstone, Heroes of Warcraft.
It's time for a little blood.
This is the Angry Chicken.
I hope you like my invention.
Tastingo! I'm gonna eat that! Reporting for duty.
Greetings and welcome back, everyone, to episode 24 of The Angry Chicken, a podcast about Hearthstone. I'm Garrett Weinzierl, and I am joined, as always, by Willie Dills Gregory. Dills, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. I'm glad to be here, but I'm a little sad.
Because we are...
Yeah, you know
Yeah. Jocelyn, unfortunately, could not join us this evening. She had some unfortunate work business come up. And,
Work is unfortunate, isn't it? It really is.
Work when it's not Hearthstone related.
Sure. Yeah.
Is very, very unfortunate, and since we don't get paid for anything Hearthstone related, at least not yet.
Yeah.
Our first month of Patreon hasn't rolled over.
No, it has not. Yeah. So
It's-
that's all just like it still seems like it's not real yet, but you know what? It is. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
It's
which
gonna come in.
is not to say, since I know some of my clients from my freelance work listen, that the work I'm doing for you is unfortunate. I'm very thankful for the work.
No, I'm saying it. Garrett's not. Yeah.
you
But
very
Jocelyn
much.
did stay up with me until like 4 a.m. or something like that the other night, drafting arena decks. So I got a lot of Jocelyn time in this week, so it's fine.
That's awesome.
I'll get over it. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds quite nice. I wouldn't
We
have
had a
minded
good time. Yeah.
to stay up late doing that. I had a full weekend of convention going and all kinds of jazz. We had the big con here in Orlando, Florida, over the weekend called MegaCon. Happens once a year. It's kind of a catch-all. They do everything there. But I got to meet some people, meet one of my favorite artists, one of my favorite actors. And afterwards, I went out and got some food and hung out with two A-Move and Frog Pants fans, Amy and Amanda, who were also at BlizzCon.
nice.
I met them for like half a second at BlizzCon, but found out they were Florida natives, and they actually live in Orlando. I drove 2 hours to this convention. They were like, well, hey, let's get some pizza and beer afterwards. And I was like, hell yeah. So Katie and I and a buddy of mine, Rich, went and hung out with them. They were great people, and apparently they watched the live show on their like TV in their living room every Monday. So
What?
hi,
That's cool.
yeah, absolutely. We had a good
I
time.
always thought I should be on TV, you know?
Really,
Good to know.
I will say the best thing about Jocelyn not being on the show tonight is now we look better without being
Oh,
compared
I know,
to
in
her.
comparison, yeah.
Yeah.
There's not someone who's actually good looking near us, so by comparison, we're pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good. It's good stuff. So how was your week, Dills? Before we get into it,
It was good. I've been playing a ton of Arena. I don't know what it is, but I think actually I do know what it is. It's the fact that this is the last test season. Has basically made me rather uninterested in trying to ladder up.
really, you
so-
don't want that feather in your hat of, hey, I hit legend before the first real season.
Nah, not really. I don't think it's much of a feather, honestly.
Okay.
I mean, it's cool. It's I know people who do get to legend, really enjoy the fact that they got to legend, and they put it. People who stream and stuff will put it like, 4 times legend or whatever. Like every season I got to legend, and I'm sure that's good for them. That feels good, but I don't know. It's like these are test seasons.
Right.
I tested them. It was fine. But Arena's just been a lot more interesting to me. I think one problem I'm also having with Constructed right now is that the archetypes are just so like set in stone almost at this point that as soon as like the guy plays his first card, I know exactly what deck he's playing. And that is kind of boring to me.
Yeah.
I like an arena where I have no clue what's coming. Like, no clue at all. This guy could have anything. You get to see magma ragers and all kinds of cool stuff like that you just never see in Constructed. So, we'll see what happens when the first actual season rolls around, if that just really lights a fire for me, which I think it will.
Yeah. You're explaining a lot of the reason I enjoy our local SEAL tournaments for Magic, because it's not that, and it's the only way I can afford to play competitively. But
Well, yeah.
yeah. No, arena's a good time. For whatever reason, it hasn't grabbed me the same as Constructed has in Hearthstone. But
You don't seem very grabbed by Constructed though lately. Every time I talk to you, you don't seem like you're having fun.
Well, that's because, sir, I fed the trolls this week. I got a nasty tweet from someone saying I basically had no right to be hosting a show at the rank I was at.
Oh my!
Got angry.
Wow.
And did what you should. Everyone learned. We're having strategy talk. This is like philosophy strategy, though. Don't play when you're angry.
Yeah.
Don't lose a game and then immediately hit play game.
Sure.
Don't
well,
do
you know
it.
what you should do is you should play, face like 12 hunters in a row, and then get angry, and then continue to play. Yeah. You know what? That's really stupid for someone to say something like that, and sounds like a real jerk. You know what?
yeah.
I feel sorry for that person.
It's a
What's going on
terrible
in their
person
life?
with only one tweet on his account that he used to bitch at me.
That's awesome.
So,
But see, doesn't that make you feel special?
Yes,
Like
it
somebody
does.
went out of their way to create a Twitter account just to troll you.
Yes, it does. Oh man,
Like that means you're important in that guy's life. So, that's cool.
I guess that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you've affected that man. So yeah. But you know what? Like the thing is that when you see like a podcast about a game, do you need the host to be like? If I'm watching basketball, do I need the guy who's broadcasting the game to be Michael Jordan? Or am I cool with it being like, the white guy who went to broadcasting school? And
Why is it got to
like,
be
I
a
don't
white
know.
guy?
To me,
Why you got to go there, Dills? Why is that the first
logic?
place you go? No, I'm
Yeah.
trolling you. Except I'm not doing it on Twitter. I'm doing it face to face because I have balls. Anyways, yeah, right. Don't feed the trolls. It's a lesson, or it's a credo we should all live our lives by.
Yeah. But
it's-
sometimes, though, I like to troll the trolls back, though. That's
Yes.
quite entertaining for me.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I do that.
No,
I
and
do that live.
imagine I like your analogy. Now imagine Michael Jordan is also very poorly spoken, just
Exactly.
stuttering, can't actually make an analogy to save his life, which, to be honest, I've done from time to time. So I should probably not be hosting a show. But hey, to that one person, I say, this was free.
Yeah, there
There
you
you
go. That was like the ultimate. Yeah, look, buddy, you didn't pay for this, so whatever. Though, it's like, isn't there an old saying like, those who can do and those who can't podcast about those who can? Isn't that a thing?
I'm sure there's
somewhere?
got to be an asterisk in there also that's like, also, if you're a comedian, do a podcast.
Yeah,
Because I don't think there's a single comedian out there who doesn't also do a podcast.
that's true. Yeah, it's good though. They're making it like more well known to people, so I like it. I appreciate that,
Oh,
and I'm
yeah.
a comedy fan, so
I wasn't getting down on it at all.
yeah.
One
never.
of my favorite podcasts is done by a comedian.
So you were telling me the other day that you were like just getting beat up like back and forth between ranks. What deck are you currently playing?
I'm jumping back and forth because I broke down and said, "Eff it, I guess I'm going aggro." And I'm jumping back and forth between the Zoo Warlock and just the Hunter that literally everyone's playing. I'm playing mostly. It's pretty much Reynad's version of it.
Okay.
Which, by the way, guys, if you're like
what does
not
that have that's different? I don't know. I'm not familiar with this Hunter deck.
honestly, I haven't compared it enough to other Hunter decks to show you tell you what the.
I mean, all that really matters in the Hunter deck is you got Buzzards and Unleash the Hounds, right? And then whatever else is like,
That's actually
fine.
exactly how Reynad in his write-ups puts it. Listen, Hunter deck is 26 shitty cards and
Then you
Buzzard
have these
and
two,
Unleash
and
the
you just
Hounds.
have to wait until you get
Yeah,
them. Yeah,
yeah,
basically.
absolutely. That's how. By the way, if you don't follow Reynad or at all, and you're trying to learn this game and you're trying to learn what works and learn decks, go to Reynad.com. Holy crap! Like I mean, he's not super up to date, but when he does post a deck, he posts a video explaining it, and then he posts himself playing it.
Yeah,
which
he's
is
actually
really helpful.
he's kind of taken on the role of like trying to really teach at a basic level to a lot of people. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
He's kind of a controversial figure though in the Hearthstone community. I don't know if you're aware of that because of his Magic past, but I enjoy his stream. I think he's good.
Yeah,
I actually I don't think there's any Hearthstone streamers that I actually don't like. I kind of watch them all.
I would agree with that, actually, which is really
well. Maybe
awesome.
there's a few who are clearly like just playing Hearthstone because that's what's getting them views, and they don't really care, and they're not really whatever. I've seen some of those, but I've
that
only
happens
seen
with.
them once.
I mean, that's just Twitch. I mean,
yeah,
yeah. There were over the course of StarCraft some streamers I didn't particularly care for, but there's so many out there that clearly are just passionate about the game. That
yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I do think though that like he explains a lot of what is going on as he's playing more than like AP Drop does a really good job of that too. I think Trump has gotten to be less like that, but when he was doing his free mage run, he was really dissecting every move. So I think it just depends on what he's doing.
yeah.
But
Commentary.
that's to me what makes a quality Hearthstone stream is when they really talk through all their moves.
Any competitive game, that's what I like to see. I remember because Twitch and StarCraft kind of came to rise simultaneously. They both kind of, I think, helped each other. And I remember when StarCraft streaming first became popular, it was like a plus, and it wasn't normal to see someone doing commentary. Now I understand that with that game a little bit because that game's a lot more intensive.
Well,
I mean,
it's hard to do that though while you're playing a game of StarCraft. Like,
right. Whereas
that's
with
the thing
Hearthstone,
with like League of Legends and now with Heroes, I'm realizing too. Like if I'm streaming Heroes, I'm not gonna be able to talk to you guys about what I'm doing. I'm too worried about what I'm doing. So,
well, that's why I'm looking forward to getting into it because when we play Dota, we just get all 5 people in a Skype call and we stream that because at the very least. While it's hard to maybe talk at the viewer like, hey, this is what's going on, they're picking up by osmosis your strategy when you're yelling at someone to go do this and that. I say yelling. I'm sorry. You know what I mean.
Sure.
It does devolve into yelling at times.
I cannot wait till we can play Heroes, by the way, because
It's been a week, sir. It's been yet another week.
I know. I just want your take. Like, first of all, I have nobody to play with, which really sucks.
Yep.
But a few people have contacted me since I whined about it on the instance. But
I was to say, you don't strike me as someone who would be fishing for someone to play games with.
I am
with your internet
fishing
cred,
right
sir.
now. I have nobody to play with. I'm so sad. I'm like, I have a ball and everything, and no one wants to play with me. I want to get your take on like how you feel about like the fact there's no last hitting and no money and team leveling.
I think
and,
I'm gonna love it.
Get in there.
I think I'm gonna love it because on its face, that's all the stuff I hate about Dota.
Sure,
and I love Dota.
Think you are too. It's just so fun because it's all about the fighting. That's
right.
You don't care about all this crap. You don't farm for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Just
absolutely.
fight.
Plus, I really want to get in there, and since I feel like I have somewhat of an idea of what's going on in MOBAs, I'm looking forward to going up against some StarCraft pro that I know the name of and actually beating him.
I played it the other day, and Koyuki and Monk were on the other team, and they both I think they realized that it was me and just were coming at me the whole time. Like every time it was a team fight, like those two just came right towards me. And I was like, oh my god, yeah,
gotta burn them down. So.
Yeah. There's that Dills guy who put me in a tournament. Let's get him.
Yeah. So, anyways, still waiting for Heroes of the Storm. I hate trolls, and it's time to talk. It's time to talk about some Hearthstone news.
Good news, everyone!
A bit of a late news week, but nonetheless, still we're looking at the game, we're looking at the rumors, and we're going, there seems to be more hints that iPad release could be coming right around the corner.
Yeah, but there is a couple of hints that it might not be too, and I said this on the instance the other day. So I don't know. I'm thrown off right now, and I don't know. My spider sense is like it's
confused.
It's tingling less than it was, I guess.
Your spider sense is not sure what it thinks. It's experimenting because it's in college.
Like, is something coming from behind me or in front of me? I don't know. But I was almost 100% sure that we were going to get iPad on the 1st, like with the new season and everything, and that would be like, oh my god, the game is out, and they'd make a big deal out of it. But I saw something about frick, what con was it? Some con coming up. I can't remember now. But they were making a big deal about you being able to play the iPad version of Hearthstone there, and that was on like the 10th and 11th.
Oh.
And I'm like, wait a minute, that wouldn't be a big deal then if it was out.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So I don't know. I'm nervous that I finally got one wrong.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Okay. Yeah, because basically the reason I brought it up is
Facts.
now
Thank you, Hustle.
as of this past week, there's now a counter in game telling you X amount of days left of the season.
Yeah, which is weird, right? It's like it's constant. Like it's like, I know, I got it. Like, do I have to get reminded every single time I exit a game? Really?
You can stop now. Thank you.
Yeah, it's okay. 7 days, still 7 days. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a very good point. There's I believe even more happening at PAX East, but we'll talk about that in a second. Also, Blizzard's rolling out or like dishing out expert card packs now with your Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls purchase. Which if you're listening to this on the podcast, it came out today.
Yeah, it comes out at midnight, right?
Yeah, tomorrow. Midnight your time. You're a West Coast bastard. I have to wait until 3 a.m.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. I thought it was just midnight for everybody. I guess
they used to do that way back in the day. I think Lich King was the last Blizzard game where we benefited from that. We were like, yeah, 3 hours to ourselves.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm going to play tonight, though. I don't know if I think as I get older, I care less about staying up until midnight to do it, you know?
It really depends on the game.
Yeah.
And the social sphere around it. Mine, I ordered a box copy off Amazon, so it's not getting here till tomorrow.
Oh,
so okay. I don't really.
Yeah, I just downloaded it.
I don't care.
Looking forward to that Crusader though. That should be cool.
Oh yeah, I'm really excited.
I don't know. It's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the pack too.
Did you ever get a level 60?
No. Oh
okay.
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I've only got like a level 40 something, 42, 43. I can't remember now.
Okay.
But yeah, it's because I would play with somebody for a while, and then it's like sometimes you get together with somebody, you start playing, and then for whatever reason you two stop getting together to play on that day, and then you just stop playing that character. Like that's kind of what happened. So
okay.
Yeah. Oh, people are saying 9 p.m. PST.
Well, that's new.
So
then.
It's midnight for you.
That didn't used to be the case.
Yeah.
So.
Well, crap! I can play right after this. Right after I'm done podcasting.
And I can't unless Amazon delivers at midnight, which I don't think they do. But nonetheless, yeah. I guess if you got a regular version, you're getting 1 pack, or if you got the collectors, you get 3.
Okay,
which is cool.
That's worth $20 more, right?
Yeah, I got the collector's edition, but that's because
yeah, but you like the art books. And
I have every Blizzard art book ever, and I must keep the collection growing. Actually, I've got
nerd.
Yeah. Got some Warcraft ones right here because I needed some reference. I needed to see how these guys painted. That's right. I'm an artist and I rip people off. Anyways, so that's cool. Curious as to why it's not in like the Warlords of Draenor thing yet. Like no word of it whatsoever. Yeah. Seeing that Heroes of Warcraft, and that's a Warcraft game.
This part, like what this means to me is that this opens the door for this type of stuff to happen a lot more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is cool, and I'd like to see even more things. I'd like to see cards earned in other games, or like I don't know. I'd like to see like you could craft it, or you could like go to WoW and earn something. Like why not?
Yeah, absolutely. That kind of crossover. We get emails about that all the time. Yeah, and I absolutely think that'd be a good stuff, like a good thing. Or because if you get a collector's edition for any of the other Blizzard games right now, you get stuff in all of the other Blizzard games. For that purchase, you get StarCraft portraits, you get Diablo banners, you get WoW pets. I don't see why they can't add like a hero portrait or something in Hearthstone, or a card back.
A card. Just a pack is a little bit like because I know I'm gonna open that pack and I'm gonna get like 2 wisps and a acolyte of pain or something. I'm gonna be like,
the
cool,
last
man.
like 6 packs I've opened have been pure dust fodder. I haven't gotten a single card I didn't already have.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what happens after a while,
Yeah.
Like. I think right now the only cards I don't have are cards I really don't even care about having. So I'm not even sure why I'm opening these packs. Like I guess I'm opening them to get dust to start creating. I'm just looking for gold cards now.
Well, I hope
where are my foil cards at?
I hope you're enjoying the seat in that tower because some of us still have a bunch of legendaries they'd like.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's nice to be able to build a deck, but here's the thing: I earned this, man. I played a lot. I played a lot, opened a lot of packs, and yes, I spent some money too. But I earned these cards, so I don't feel bad. But I like being able to like see a deck and be like, yeah, I'll make that. Okay, let's do it. And then, boom, you got it.
Great. If you're a college student, perk up for this one because the Esports Association, better known as TESPA, just announced that they're doing a Collegiate Hearthstone Open. If you're not familiar with TESPA, they run a really awesome StarCraft league for colleges in North America. So some of the highlights from this Collegiate Hearthstone Open is that it's going to consist of 512 North American college students from colleges all over North America. It's offering over $5,000 in scholarships. It's completely free to compete in. They're also dishing out 5 Hearthstone packs to 10 lucky players at random just for participating. Curious how I'm always curious how they're doing these in-game dishing out reward stuff. Got to be through Blizzard.
Yeah, I guess so. That's kind of, I don't know how you can't gift a pack right now, so
right.
I'm not sure how they're doing that.
Right, absolutely. The event is going to be online until the Final Four, where the Final Four players will be advancing to the semifinals and flown to PAX East to compete.
Wow.
In an offline live event. So
and you got to register soon.
Yeah,
happen.
Absolutely. The deadline to register is March 27th. We got links in the show notes over at amove.tv/TAC, or you can go right over to tespa.org and look it up yourself. So this is pretty badass. I'm really excited to see TESPA getting involved, and I am so mad I'm not in college anymore.
Well, you could just do it anyway, and then once you get...
I'll go take like one course at my local community college.
Yeah, you win the scholarship, and then you go take like something at City College, and like learn how to like fix motorcycles or something. I don't know. Like you could,
What is with chat room and my hair tonight? That's like the 20th comment. I woke up late, didn't feel like dealing with it.
Look, this is why I don't do anything with my hair, because once you do it, you're expected to.
Yeah.
Right? Like oh man, I put a bunch of stuff in my hair, fluff it up, and now it's like, wait a minute, why isn't it like that? Why didn't you do that today?
Because I didn't have a date with Katie tonight. That's why.
I get like, why didn't you wear the hat? But that's fine, because then I go, oh cool, no problem, hat back on.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, cool. Go check that out if you're in college. Make sure to get involved in it. It's time for some strategy talk.
Hit it very hard.
Wanna blow something up? Time to pay!
Welcome to Dill's corner of the Angry Chicken. It's called Strategy. And today, Dills, what are you... I'm going to treat this like Bill Nye, the Science Guy. What are we talking about today, Dills?
Well, Billy, we're talking about we're going to talk about trading or going to the face, because people always ask this question. Like it's one of those things, and I get why, because like there's a certain point in the game where you kind of switch from being control-y to like actually trying to end the game and win, and that's, I think, a tough spot for people to like figure out. Like, I mean, you can understand trading, right? Or you can understand a face deck where you just go to the face.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things where if you are net decking, say you have unlimited funds, you have every damn card in the game, and you can create whatever deck you want. So you go and you look up the best deck from the best player, and you have a carbon copy of what is a tournament winning deck.
Sure.
Knowing when to trade and go versus the face, I think is one of the number one things that sets an amateur player apart from someone who's winning tournaments professionally.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these are when it boils down to it, these are like the big choices. I mean, obviously, it's like which minions trade with which are important. Which cards, like, do I play a card that costs 5 and 3 or one that costs 8 on turn 8? Those decisions also matter.
Right.
But what really kind of like makes or breaks a game a lot of times is, did you become aggressive at the right time? Did you kill the creature before it became a problem for you? Like, were you taking care of those types of issues? Because that's, in essence, you can't run out of time to kill someone. I've had plenty of games where I was too controlling and basically ran out of time to kill them. Ran out of cards, like starting to get to that fatigue part of the game, and I realized, like, man, I never just hit the dude in the face,
Yeah,
and
this is I think most evident in rogue decks.
Sure. But yeah, it's just important, and you need to know that there's definitely times where trading is absolutely right, and if you don't, you lose, and if you did trade, you would have won. So basically, there's no hard and fast rules to this, but I figured we could at least like kind of give people some guidelines to this. So I think the first thing is you clearly trade when you can trade up. Like that's just like pretty obvious. They have a 4-3 on the board and you have a 3-1. You know, kill the 4-3 with the 3-1. It's like pretty clear. Like that 4-3 is worth more than your 3-1. So anytime you can do that, you know, 3-2s, kill them with your 2-1s. Anytime you can do that, you always do it. And that one's just kind of obvious, but it's just like you probably don't want to be going to the face with your 3-1 when they've got like a big creature on board that you could kill. Killed creatures when your creature will survive. This is like, to me, this is actually one that I thought was really obvious, but I've talked to a lot of people and they've been like, people will kind of make a trade and try to keep like their Yeti at full health rather than like kill the 3-1 with their Yeti and then knock its health down. Like people seem to feel like keeping the Yeti at full health is somehow really important.
Yeah, and that's, I think some of that is an artifact from playing other card games.
Sure.
Because in a lot of other card games, that's not even an option. You can't, have
it goes
a
back
creature
to full
target
health,
another
right?
creature. And yeah, that's something you really need to beat out of your head if you've played other card games, especially Magic, that you can use your own creatures as removable spells.
Yeah, and basically, like, that's how you get a 2-for-1 out of a Yeti, is I kill one thing and it's still alive. So it now will kill something else at some point. Or it takes another card from the other guy to finally get rid of it.
Yeah.
One thing you got to be careful of when you're doing this, though, is doing things like setting up really good swipes for druids, or really good flame strikes for mages, or really good consecrates for paladins. Like, you got to be careful about that. Where if I set all of my creatures to 2 health, and then they have that card, like I basically then just lost my whole board for 1 card. So in those situations, it may be better to trade a card out and keep your Yeti at full health.
Absolutely.
So that's got to make sure you know what could possibly be played on the next turn.
Yeah, in low minion situations, like you only have 1 or 2 on the board, I think it's perfectly safe to do that. Because if they even use an AoE card to get rid of that 1 or 2, you took off a minion card, and then you also cost them an AoE card for not much gain.
Absolutely, especially in a constructed game. Like mages are now playing Flame Strike again, right? So knowing that, I try to set up Flame Strikes where they're still going to want to do it, but the Flame Strike's actually not that value to them. Like where it actually only kills 1 card or something. Or it kills 1 card and a card that's already done work. Kills, like a totem and a card that drew me a card. Like, but it looks like a really good Flame Strike. Like, you kind of understand what other people are doing. And just basically like play accordingly. Like, you got to play around those big cards, but still, in most cases, your Yeti gets the 2-for-1 because it kills something and stays alive. So you want to do that if you can. Removing threats is important. You don't go to the face when there's a Knife Juggalo on board and you can just kill it. Like, just kill the Knife Juggalo. It's got to go. Auctioneers,
I like that
cards that draw cards.
You refuse to call it a juggler.
No, it's just a Juggalo. Yeah, it's a Knife Juggalo. But so yeah, the Auctioneer, like let's say they put out like an Acolyte of Pain, right? Something like that. And you got to kill that before they can draw 2 cards with it. That kind of stuff. So remove threats over going to the face. When it's those types of cards that have some sort of effect that's kind of game changing, you need to get rid of them ASAP. So you sacrifice face damage to get rid of those cards every time. When you actually do all these trades, at some point, the idea is that you gain board control. You have creatures on the board. They don't. Like, every turn ends with you having creatures on the board, and every turn for them ends with them just like trying to get rid of your creatures. When that part of the game hits, and they're doing all the trading, that's when you can start hitting the face. So you got to kind of like have that switch going off where you're like, we've gotten there now. Like, he's trading. I'm never trading anymore. Like they're trying to always kill my dudes. Then you can be like, okay, now these guys are actually worth the damage that that their power is worth. So I have 8 power on board. That's 8 damage. So I'm going to do that 8 damage and then force them to to deal with that pressure. So you got to kind of recognize when that moment actually happens, and that moment occurs by you making those really advantageous trades for you earlier on in the game. And then I also think that a lot of people will not take like the big damage to the face because they think like this big creature, like a Yeti's the best like 2-for-1 card. But when I put like a Boulder Fist Ogre out there and they can't kill it, I'm gonna take the 6 damage. I'm going to the face with 6 damage, unless there's like something really scary out there. But a lot of people I see will pass up on that damage, and it's like then the next turn that thing dies, and yeah, you got 2-for-1, but you probably could have gotten a 2-for-1 anyway and 6 damage to the face.
Yeah, you have to know when to race your opponent. If they have a minion out, you have a minion out. If you were at some sort of parity, then you just do the math. It was like, well, I can burn him down faster than he can.
Yeah. Or if I could put him on a clock, like 2 or 3 turns, like that's when you start really trying to get that clock going. Because they'll suddenly go into panic mode, But like people talk about why is the Venture Co Merc such a good card? Well, it's a big threat, right? It's a 7/6 for only 5 mana. But if you play the Venture Co Merc and then you don't take that 7 damage to the face, you're not actually putting a threat on the board. You're just putting a big minion to trade a bunch of creatures with, and it's like you're losing that threat. It's that threat of damage that makes it a threat.
Right.
So,
especially with the way so many decks work now and constructed, where you have some type of game-ending combination.
Yeah.
So when the trade when to go versus the face, I think even you could add some caveats to it. If you have a game-ending combo, well, I have a goal. I have a health point goal I want my opponent to be at. Say
absolutely.
It's 12 damage.
With the Druid deck, when you have the Force of Nature Savage Roar in your hand, it's like, okay, let's get him down to 14.
Yeah, or any deck that runs Leroy probably has some type of combo.
Yeah, I mean, that Shaman deck that I was playing for a really long time, and that was the whole idea, was get a Leroy, a Wind Fury, and a Rockbiter weapon in my hand. And if I had those things in my hand, then basically I was like, okay, I just got to get him down to 18, and it's game over, So, you got to recognize if your win condition is met in your hand, now you have to make the board position and the health situation fit that win condition, and you're good to go.
Get rid of taunts and get their life down to the point you need it to be.
Yeah, exactly. And then the last thing, which is, again, another thing that just like sounds obvious, but I don't think these are. I mean, these are not obvious. Is when you have to assess whether the other guy is going to make this trade for you, and if they are, and you can't really prevent this trade from happening, you don't do the trade yourself. You hit the face, and then they do the trade, and then you got the damage to the face, and they made the trade. So when I have a 4/2, right? So I've used an Argent Commander to kill something. Now I've got this 4/2 left on the board, and the guy has a 2/1, and I'm playing a priest or something, so I can't hero power it off. I have no way to remove the 2/1, and I have this 4/2. I'm not missing out on this 4 damage just to kill the 2/1 that I know is going to kill this. So go to the face, get that 4 damage in.
Yeah, that scenario happens a lot when you're playing the cards that you were just saying you need to trade with. Say you, in this scenario, you have the Knife Juggler. There's no way it's going to survive your opponent's next turn.
Yeah.
And you're just like, well, I guess I just do the 3 damage to my opponent's face because his, buffed Argent Squire is totally taking this thing out next turn.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not trying to use this. I'm not trying to use a Juggalo for trading purposes. That's a threat. And so, recognize your own threats, recognize when they're going to try to take care of those threats, and make sure that they actually live out the promise of being threats. They actually have to do stuff. If you just put them out there and then you play really passively and continue to trade, you're just not going to kill people. And, this is something you see a lot of the higher ranked players and stuff. They recognize when the damage is there for the taking, and they don't miss it. They don't miss that damage, making trades that they're not supposed to make. Obviously, you do want to trade a lot in this game. I mean, this game is very heavily about clearing the other guy's board as often as you can, depending on what kind of deck you're running, obviously. But, it's there's no hard fast rule of like always trade, always go face. You got to recognize those situations, and it's not easy, but keep some of these things in your mind as you're playing, and you should be able to start to figure it out and notice when it worked and when it didn't too. Like at the end of a game that you lost, think about like maybe I wasn't aggressive enough or maybe I was too aggressive. So like make sure you're considering that stuff, because basically the definition of being aggressive is being the guy going to the face. So it's a good thing to have that aggression when you're playing this game, but you gotta manage it correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that was a good lesson. Do you have any closing thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, not really, but I have had people, ask me if like this is the kind of stuff that I'll work with them on in sessions and stuff. And it's like, yeah, absolutely. Like it's not all about drafting arena decks. Like we can talk about the ins and outs of the game. So don't hesitate to ask these questions, guys. These are things like people I think don't want to sound dumb when it comes to like this game, So ask the simple questions. Like if it's a thing that you're not sure about, don't be like trying to figure it out by losing a bunch.
I think if you're coaching Hearthstone or you're being coached in Hearthstone, I think a good way to go about it is the person who's being coached. If you're doing it doesn't matter if you're doing constructed or arena, but you're sitting there, it's your turn, you're looking at the board. Like if I'm coaching a buddy, I go, okay, what would you do here? And I have them tell me what they're about to do, and then I will say, yes, that's correct, or no, and here's why. Or if I'm not sure, I think, well, here's another avenue we could go.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing is, like, there may not be like one correct play. I mean, there usually is one correct play, but there could be different ways to go about doing the same thing. So it's always good to discuss them. I when I'm doing these sessions too, like a lot of times I'm figuring stuff out. I'm like, oh yeah, I never even thought about that. That's a good idea. Let's do that.
Yeah.
But this is the kind of stuff that people need to be thinking about as they're improving at the game. That's what ultimately makes the difference, whether you win or lose. There's luck. There's all this. Do I draw the cards I need at the right time?
Don't you watch Star Wars, sir? There's no such thing as luck.
That's true.
God, listen to
it's
Yoda.
all skill, man.
If you don't listen to me, listen to Yoda at least.
when I draw swipe when I need it, it's all skill, man.
It is. You thought really hard.
Yeah.
And
I was like, you know what? I need a swipe right now. Hey, swipe. There it is.
Yeah, top decking like a champ. All right. Well, let's close that out and move on to crazy game stories.
Is the whole world gone crazy?
You're in trouble now.
You got it!
You can send your crazy game stories to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Our first crazy game story this week comes to us from Astra Spider, who wanted to talk about playing against a mill deck. And he said, chicken people! Whoa. I'm
sure that's how he said it too.
Yes. I hope like Morpheus standing on top of a mountain addressing a group of sweaty ravers. Chicken people. After your recent description of milling, I now know what this guy was trying to do to me last week. Thanks. And here is what the guy was trying to do to him. I'm always worried when a guy tries to do anything to me. He said his first cold like Oracle was a pleasant surprise. When he played his second, I was confused. He also brewmastered the second one to play it again later. But by the time he played King Mukla, I had caught on. Apparently Elite Tauren Chieftain also happened, which makes sense. Gives your opponent a card.
Everything that gives the opponent a card, you do it.
Absolutely. Yeah. He said, I was furiously trying to place minions, but he had let my Imp Master run and fill up the board. Yeah, okay. He said, I burnt two draws, couldn't drop minions or generate tokens on the 2 other turns, but eventually won due to Savage Roars and Power of the Wild buffing all my little dorks. Weirdest thing that has ever happened to me in the game so far.
So it sounds like he's playing the token druid deck, which that's a tough deck to mill out because that deck is generally out of cards. So like you're playing a lot of cards. So he's giving you a lot of cards and you're like, sweet, thanks for the bananas which count as spells for my my teacher.
Did you see that video? I can't remember who posted it. It was the druid deck that played his whole hand out on turn 1 because his opponent played Millhouse Manastorm.
Yeah, those two guys just set that up though. There's
I'm
spell deck.
I'm
Yeah.
aware. I'm aware of
Yeah.
the fact. I find that stuff really interesting though. Even though it was clearly orchestrated, I think
Yeah.
it was really interesting.
Yeah, it was really funny. Yeah, to be able to just kill the other guy on turn one. There's been a lot of like discussion about how that would be possible, and to do it without having to have
All spells.
what I thought was kind of cool was that he did it without having to have like specific 3 cards in his deck or in his hand or whatever, which I guess he kind of still did because he needed to ramp out the auctioneer.
Right.
But I mean, it was pretty insane to be able to draw through his entire deck on turn one. I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The milling decks, though, I know people want to make these things work. They're just for fun, you guys, but they are fun when they work. But the thing is, yeah, they don't work.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like this guy got the dream for the mill deck, and he still lost the game. So
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it's generally not, even if you're burning some of their draws, the other dude has 10 cards in his hand the whole time, so he has plenty of options. It's a fun deck. It's a joke deck.
Yeah. You want to take the next crazy game story?
Sure. It's, Bad Bart. He says, I'm playing my Druid deck against a Warrior Armor deck. In my opening hand, I get stuck with 2 Faceless Manipulators. Or he got blessed with 2 Faceless Manipulators. I don't know. Let's read more. So as soon as I get something big out, I plan to copy it. For 10 turns, the Warrior plays no creatures except 1 Cruel Taskmaster. What? He instead efficiently kills everything I put on the board with Arcanite Reaper, Whirlwind Execute, Heroic Strike, Mortal Strike. I get the feeling I will never have any minions survive. Then comes the Warrior's big combo play. Corcoran Elite, Inner Rage, Rampage, and then charges me for 11 damage.
That's a big combo play?
Yeah, you need more than 11.
Sounds like a
big
waste of
combo.
cards.
I know, yeah. That's 4 cards to hit for 11 damage. That's not efficient at all.
No, not at all.
My initial reaction was, my days are numbered. Then I remembered my 2 manipulators and the fact that I now have 10 mana. Copy his Corcoran twice, he immediately chooses death. Well, there you go. See, so it took him 4 cards to get 11 damage. It took you 2 to do 22. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's an investment that was definitely cashed in well.
Yeah. When people talk about these like big combos, you got to think about how much mana you're taking and how many cards it takes to do it, because like the reason why Force of Nature and Savage Roar is so good is because it's only 2 cards. So it's actually pretty easy to get that combo in your hand.
Yeah.
But when it's like 5 cards to get this thing off, like that's why you're not seeing Warrior with Raging Worgens and Warsong Commanders and Inner Rages, because like that's too many freaking cards I got to get in my hand.
Well, let's see. A sixth of my deck I can't play.
Yeah.
Except it's the Killing Blow.
You're like waiting,
what?
and your hand is full of all your combo pieces, and you can't play them until you get your big combo.
And
off.
if you're running 2 of
good.
each, that's a third of your deck.
Yeah.
Oh man,
it's not
that's
good. That's why, like,
Yeah.
I really like the Leroy Windfury, because even with just those 2 cards, it was like 12 damage for those, for 5 or 6 mana.
Yeah, and if you happen to have a Rock Biter, it was that much better.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't need to save the Rock Biter, but it's nice, But it's like the Rock Biter is also still useful throughout the rest of the game to remove stuff and things. So
that's why Shaman's awesome.
yeah, it is. Shaman is good right now. Have you noticed the influx of Harrison Jones?
I have not.
Are you seeing it?
No, I
Okay.
haven't. What's going on there?
At the higher ranks right now, you're seeing Harrison Jones everywhere because of the fact that the high ranks are full of warrior control, hand lock, and shaman with doom hammers, and there's just a lot of weapons and rogues like miracle rogues, who play Assassin's Blade and stuff. So, and then of course hunters who play secrets and give more charges to their weapon, and so Harrison has become like a staple.
Okay, so he's kind of going the route of the Black Knight. Taunts get in fashion, Black Knight gets in fashion, weapons get in fashion, Harrison Jones gets in fashion.
Yeah, like if you think about it, like the decks that don't use weapons are all kind of at the bottom right now, except for like Paladin. Paladin's like probably the most at the bottom, but like Mage and Priest like Druid's gone down quite a bit. Like these are not the top classes anymore. So, yeah, it's Harrison Jones's time to shine.
Hell yeah. Get out there, crack that whip, Indy.
Yeah, man, it belongs in a museum.
Does he say that when he
I like that
destroys
card.
destroys the weapon? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's what he says.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right. I don't have one,
Yeah.
nor have I ever seen one played.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's like if you Doom Hammer, and then the dude Harrison Jones and draws 6 cards. Like, oh man, brutal,
Nice.
brutal. You got to be careful though because you could easily overdraw when you're getting the Doom Hammers and the Jiraxis weapons. You got to be wary.
Yeah.
'Cause, you could easily mill yourself out.
Good stuff. Well, let's take some emails while we round out the show.
Let's do it.
Hello, it's me.
Hello.
Just quickly, did you get my message?
Yep.
Oh,
Hello, brother.
You can cut that off
my.
too early.
Somebody killed that chicken prematurely. It
He
didn't
caught the
finish
chicken.
clucking.
He finally caught the chicken. You can send your emails to tacpodcast@gmail.com. Our first email this week comes to us from Grimwolf, who writes, "Hello, Garrett Dills and the missing Jocelyn. I have a question regarding Arena. Is it just me, or are Arena rewards kind of on the short side on live? Meaning when the game went live, I'm assuming. I've never been great at Arena, but I remember noticeable increases in rewards even for low win counts despite losses. Since going live, I've not managed any great quantity of wins, but wins all the same, and yet my rewards are no better than if I had lost all 3 games with no wins. Is this just my poor luck, or has Blizzard changed the way rewards are done? If so, I am having a hard time finding a reason I should even do Arena if the rewards are going to be so small. Keep up the good work."
I think he's just getting unlucky because I haven't noticed this.
A couple things. I think we're not Blizzard support. Like, I'm confused why he's asking us this and not the forums.
Well, because we may know, we may have heard something, but yeah.
Secondly, without hard numbers from him, I have no idea what to tell him.
Sure. Jocelyn put a little note in here, which is kind of nice.
Yes, the
actual
ghost of
range
Jocelyn is with us
rewards.
today.
What's that?
The ghost of Jocelyn is still with the show today.
She was in here at some point. But yeah, so that's the thing is that the arena rewards are a range, and you could just be getting unlucky. Like nine wins gets you up to this amount or at least this amount type of thing.
Every level fluctuates slightly.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
at 0 wins, 25 to 40 gold or dust, or a common card and a pack. At 1 win, 30 to 50 gold or dust, or a common card and a pack.
And they
so on
actually,
and so forth.
the only news I've heard is that they've actually increased the rewards in the form of not giving you basic cards anymore for 10, 11, or 12 wins. You'll only get gold cards. So
Good. That's how it should be.
it's really frustrating to get 12 wins and then open eye for an eye or something like that, a regular eye for an eye. And you're like, really? Cool, man. Thanks, dude.
I'm so happy, especially with Jocelyn removed, that Eye for Eye has just replaced the word shit on this podcast.
Yeah, that's like, yeah. What is this, eye for an eye? Come on, man. Get this out of my
Oh, it smells like Eye for an Eye in here. Someone clean the cat box.
Yeah, so I've actually noticed that this has gone away. You don't get the non-gold cards anymore. Thank God.
Yeah, that's no good. But yeah, it's curious. Again, I'd like to see hard numbers.
He's just getting unlucky. I swear to God, he's just getting unlucky. So don't worry about it, man.
He might just
your
be
luck
getting
will turn.
Yeah. There does seem to be overlap in the amount of gold you could get between levels within a win or two. So maybe you're just getting the low end on your high wins and the high end on your low wins.
Yeah.
So.
Like I could even look at my arena mastery stats and I could probably see if there's any type of fluctuation, but I'm positive that there isn't. I've been playing a lot of arena lately, and I have not seen any kind of jump or drop.
I finally set up Hearth stats this week. That is
nice.
Awesome.
It's cool, right?
Damn, it's cool. Yeah, really cool.
So yeah, my last 10 win one, I got 250 gold, a pack, and a gold card. So that seems fairly standard.
Okay. Yeah,
and then at 12 wins, I was getting about 360 gold, on average. So yeah, I mean, this is that all seems right.
Nice. You want to take the next email?
Sure. Let's see. Now, okay, this is from Chuck. Greetings, North American dwellers. See what I did there? No mention of gender or that Jocelyn is from Canada. Crap, I almost did it. Well, I think you actually did do it, but very cleverly, Chuck.
We
Nice work,
saw what
sir.
you did there, nonetheless. well played.
I would like to get your take on priests in Hearthstone. I'm about ready to make a new account and name myself I Hate Priests. Oh my god, really? I have about had it with priests duplicating cards for my deck, doubling the health of minions, playing the damn healing well thingy. Sorry, I can't remember the name. They just seem to be way overpowered to me. What advice can you give me for dealing with the plague upon man that I like to call priests? I haven't purchased a ton of decks and do not have that many legendary cards. Well, here's the thing. I think that priests are actually really underpowered, so I have a feeling that you need to be a little more aggressive, Chuck, because they actually are not very good right now. And if you're seeing the priests that are doing the things like doubling the health of their minions and stuff, basically those priests are really susceptible to you just killing those minions before they can do that. So I would say just, play aggro, man, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. They can't really deal with it. So,
yeah, strange stuff.
the priest anger has really gone away. So, I don't know. It's like people still, I feel like, have a big problem with like getting their cards stolen. I understand that, but they really like aren't powerful. So don't worry, Chuck. You'll be fine. Be more aggressive, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah. This is not a problem I've been having. Yeah.
No, it's not a problem I'm having either. Yeah.
Final email today comes from Simon, who just wanted to say that we should advertise the AMOVE forums more. There have been a few people posting on there, and I have been trying to make them more active, but not many people on at the moment. All right. Check out the forums.
That's true. Yeah, we probably do need to get a little more active in there. I know I haven't been because I didn't like just get in there and start doing a bunch of stuff right away, and that's kind of how you need to do it with forums. So I'll try to get on that.
Yeah. Anyway, the address is forum.amove.tv is where you can go and talk about that. I don't read them every darn day, but I definitely check in more than once a week. So shame on you, Dills. Shame on you.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. And you know what's funny? I used to be really like big into like the Frog Pants forums and all that stuff, and I don't know, man. It's Reddit's fault, really. That's what happened.
Reddit has killed a lot of my forum going habits.
Yeah, it's basically like the one forum you need, so I just go there.
It's the everything forum.
It's the everything forum. I go there. I talk about True Detective and Walking Dead and Hearthstone and WoW and all that. So, but yeah, let's make these things happen. I'm in. All right, I'll jump on board.
Yep. Sorry, just banning people from the chat room that are being asshats.
Asshats in Twitch chat? No way. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's good stuff. It's a good way to round up the show by calling people asshats and banning them forever.
What I like to do on Twitch is I like to find things that I hate, and then I like to watch them on Twitch and then just talk about how terrible it is.
Yeah.
Like I like to go into a streamer's stream and just be like, God, this guy is so bad.
Like
this
an
guy
incredibly
is terrible.
useful.
He's the worst. And I like to spend about 6 hours doing that.
It makes me curious about what you do with your life, that you don't have better uses for your time.
Yeah. Well, trolls are going to troll. It's all good.
Yeah, they are. So, anyways, I believe that'll about do it for this week's episode. As always, want to thank the patrons of the Angry Chicken. You guys are the
best.
Yeah, you guys really are awesome. It's insane to see the number go up every week. So thank you guys so very much. If you're interested in supporting the Angry Chicken and becoming a patron, you can do so by going over to patreon.com/TAC. This week we wanted to thank Bane, who apparently wants us to take back our podcast, Gotham. I don't know.
And Bane is also in our chat right now. What's up, Bane? I like me some Bane.
Thank you,
Hangs
sir.
out in my chat a lot as well.
Yeah. Also, thanks to Jonathan B., Colin C., Jim M., and Joseph E. Thank you all for becoming Angry Chicken patrons. And also thanks to you, those of you who are podcast listeners and left us reviews in the iTunes store. From the U.S. store this week, we wanted to thank Lunalee86, Charlie Chuckleberry, Blizz Fanboy, Dragon Pits, and Mr. Z Math. Thank you guys very much. Your reviews help the show a lot on the podcast end of things. As always, The Angry Chicken is a production of amove.tv and the Frog Pants Studios. You can see more about this and all of the other AMove shows over at amove.tv. Make sure to check out all of the other fine shows over at frogpants.com as well. You can email us at tacpodcast@gmail.com or continue the conversation over at the forums, which can be found at forum.amove.tv. We record live every Monday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Time over at twitch.tv/amovetv. And our mobile live stream is provided by Alpha Geek Radio, which you can get by going to mobile.alphageekradio.com. You can follow us on Twitter at TAC Podcast. I can be found personally at Garrett Art. Dills can be found at Willie Dills. And the missing today, Jocelyn, can be found at GIS Gamer. Big thanks to the musician Brian Griffith, who made the intro music for our show. His website is briangriffithmusic.com. And finally, you can find my graphic design portfolio over at nomoonart.com. Dills, where can people find you?
Listen to The Instance, which is the World of Warcraft podcast, so you don't have to. We are having a lot of fun over there right now. I actually saw Terpster in life while he was here last week, and didn't actually get to hang out with him after the Angry Chicken, though, on Monday. Yeah, he ended up, I think he had been drinking like probably all day, and I think he ended up crashing out at some point, so we didn't get to hang out. But it sounds like my city kind of kicked his ass, which San Francisco has been known to do. So, but I think he had a great time.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he accidentally wandered into Oakland and actually got his ass kicked.
Yeah. No, I think he just drank a whole lot, which is basically what everyone does in San Francisco. So,
okay.
Welcome to my town, Terpster. Torturecast, podcast about the Giants. We are, getting ready to start the season, I think, in like 9 days. So, Torturecast is ramping up. And MGA had its season start, and I actually played yesterday. We had our first tournament of the season yesterday. I got really sunburnt, and I got closest to the pin because I hit it to 6 feet on number 10, so that was cool. And then I made the putt for birdie. So then I also shot a 103. So there you go. One good hole out of 18 is fine for me right now.
Check out all that stuff. I'm sure it would be far, far better than I would have done.
Yeah, probably, because I, actually have golfed before, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever golf? You said you never golfed.
No, not okay. Since I was.
I'll get you out.
Like 11, I think was the last time I was out at a driving range.
Also, check out the Twitch stream, Willie Dills SF. I'm probably going to be playing a lot of D3 coming up pretty soon, and some Heroes, but always Hearthstone too. Mostly Hearthstone.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of Diablo 3 this week on the on twitch.tv/amovetv as well.
Yeah.
We should just make like 2 fresh Crusaders and just have a Crusader party.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah, we should do that. So, anyways, check that out. Jocelyn can be found at The Gamers Inn, which is also on amove.tv, or writing articles over on the Doghouse Network. Which also brings me to our sponsors, doghousesystems.com. Don't forget to go check them out. Our code to use is TAC, and that'll get you double memory on your next Doghouse Systems gaming rig and directly support the show in the process. So thank them for that. Our shirts, which Dills is wearing, can be found over at slashloot.com. Actually spell out slash. Don't actually just do a slash and expect to get a website. It's not how it works. We thank them all for their support. We thank you all for listening. Jocelyn misses everyone, I'm sure. We'll see you next week. Job's done.
Job's done. Job's done. Yes!
Cheater. Had a little extra time. Hi, chat room. How y'all doing? Except you douchebags, if you're still lurking.
Fake the Jocelyn job's done, but I don't think I did very good. Job's done. You know what I feel like? I feel like Undead Goat like just put in Willie Dills without the SF. I feel like the Willie Dills is just me, but it's like my old Justin TV account or something. Like, I wonder if I can get rid of that, because I just clicked on it. I was like, yeah, why didn't I get Willie Dills or whatever? And then I clicked on it. And it's just like nothing has ever happened here. So yeah, I don't know. I wonder if I can get rid of it somehow. I wish it was just Willie Dills. I don't like how I have to have SF on some crap.
Yeah.
And then not on other crap.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you there, dude.
Oh well, dude, I missed it. What happened? What asshats?
I don't know. There's a couple of douchebags in here just being like I don't know, criticizing our answers to questions, asking what some dude called us a couple of queers.
Ooh.
Well,
he's got that one right. I am a couple of queers. Garrett, on the other hand, is incredibly straight.
How can a single person be a couple of queers? I don't.
You know what? This is
Not
San
sure how.
Francisco, dude.
Not sure.
We do what we want here, man.
Hey, I used
We
to
are
hang
a
out.
very diverse city.
I used to hang out in West Hollywood, on weekends. So I don't know what you're talking about. I will. Oh man, that's funny. Good show tonight. Shorter than usual, but hasn't been a lot of news.
Less news and no Jocelyn. So
Yeah. No one telling us that Eye for an Eye is a good card and us having to refute that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just also know us trying to figure out what the hell she's talking about because we don't understand Canadian and like there's all that
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like
just
Wookiee speak,
gone,
right?
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So total Wookiee speak. Wonder if the D-bags would have called her a queer as well.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, she's the queerest of us all.
Yeah.
So. So this is kind of cool. Like I never really like just sit and look at my stats and arena stats, but like they really break it down. Like Mage is the hardest class to play against. Clearly, I already knew that. But somehow Priest is second. Maybe that guy was right. Somehow Priest is second hardest for me to beat. And Warrior, apparently, I beat 90% of the time. So Warrior must suck.
Nice. Yeah. Ben, my buddy and the guy on Amy Radio has been using Harsh Stats, and he is loving it because he's such a stat man.
Yeah.
And he's just like he's using. I think he was using the uploader, and he was saying anytime like every now and then it gets it wrong or something, and he's just like I have to go in there and I have to correct it, and everything has to be perfect.
Yeah. It gets messed up from time to time, and I kind of gave up on doing that after a little while. I'm just gonna wait for them to like completely fix it, and then I'll really give a crap. But for right now, I'm just like, just flick it on, start playing, and then whatever. It's collecting stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'll go back and look at some point, even if it gets like the actual stuff wrong. It like knows what class I was playing and whether I won or lost. So I think it's still valuable, even in its current state. But
yeah, at least
I really wish they would just put out an API, man, and just like. Rather than having to do all this reading of the screen and stuff like that.
I really don't understand why they don't.
I don't either. Seems like it would be incredibly useful. So.
Yeah, maybe that'd be a question next time we get a Blizz dude on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, let's get a Blizz dude on again.
Yeah.
I think it's time.
Well,
right?
the way they work is they I don't know if you've booked guests for the instance or not, but like they have specific times when they're scheduling interviews for like I know. Like you can't just be like, hey, I want to have a guy. Well, we're not scheduling it right now, so no. like is more or less what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to hope that you're asking around the time when they're looking to book people, or just be the instance where they just always want to throw someone on your show.
Yeah. Did chat have any questions that I missed or anything? We did finish really early.
Yeah, we've got some time to take chat questions.
Peeny77. Hey guys, wondering when you're going to do some more training sessions with each other to post on the channel. Well, we're always kind of
it's basically comes down to finding time for it.
Yeah. Basically, if we're both around on the weekends, we'll just like do it. So I'm sure another one will happen anytime soon.
Yeah, like the thing I think a lot of people don't realize about us, or at least I think they're overlooking, especially the asshats.
Is that we're not a couple of queers?
This isn't no. And who cares if we were? Like, what's the big deal?
There's anything wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that. Which Scott has on a soundboard. What was it? We don't do this for a living. Like, this isn't a full-time job, so it's hard for us to find time to do this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I've been I don't know about you, dude, but I've been wicked busy lately. I'm still working on an actual card game. I still can't say what it is.
Okay.
Then I've got the day job and another big freelance project I'm working on, another game of sorts.
Yeah.
So like it's hard to find side time for other than the shows that I have scheduled.
Sure.
So
Yeah, it will happen again.
Yeah.
When is our next tournament? That's another thing. Like that will also happen again. But,
finding time.
find time. Although I think our system is much more in place than it was the first time. So yeah, we will. It'll be a more streamlined process this time for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now that they just did those nerfs and stuff, like, we probably won't see any changes that will affect things for a little while. So it's a good time to do it.
Yeah, I hope so. And no, Joe, this is not us saying give us more money. Like, that's not what we're saying.
What we mean. Yeah,
We just said that like a lot of the people that are popular, a lot of the popular streamers and stuff. I mean, they do this for a living. This is how they make their living. So they do this stuff full time. That's not the case with us. We have to work a 40-hour job a week.
But those
keep the
streamers
lights
also
on.
were not full-time streamers at some point and just built it up. So,
Right, absolutely.
it could happen at some point where we don't have to do the jobs anymore, and that would be great.
Yeah, that would be totally badass.
Dill's thoughts on Bloodsail, Corsair, True Silver Champion, Fireworks, Eagle Hornbow often have only one durability and it's only one mana. Yeah, but the problem is that it's also a really weak card outside of that, whereas like the Ooze is just a 2-drop on its own, but the Bloodsail Corsair is a really weak 1-drop. Well, it's a 1-drop, but you don't really like, if you're going to put 1-drops, you probably want stuff like Leper Gnomes and Young Priestess and what's the Stealth Worgen, like stuff like that, and they just take the spot over Bloodsail Corsair. So
Yeah.
You could make a total anti-weapon deck though that would be great for like side decking in a tournament. But yeah, I just think that it's just too weak. It's too weak.
Yeah, for your
1-2
general
is too weak.
for your general player who's just trying to come up have decks that are good at rising ranks. I mean, you can't really run an anti-weapon deck.
Yeah,
You can't
but
write-
the reason that Harrison Jones is fine too is because even if you're not playing a weapon deck, he's a 5/4, so it's like whatever. All right, fine. He's still fine. I can play him on turn 5.
Yeah.
And the turn 5 slot isn't taken up with very much other stuff, so it's like, there's not a lot of great cards at 5 mana right now. So
Yeah. Ophidian asks, what is a card you would like to see introduced to the game?
like make up a card.
Like make up a card or like a mechanic?
I mean, a card. If I was gonna make up a card, I'd probably do something.
It'd be Dills.
I would do so well. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's like.
I want a
not in
Dills,
there.
a Jocelyn, and a Garrett card that I'll have some kind of synergy between them, so I can make the
That'd be cool.
Dills, the TAC crew deck instead of a Murloc deck.
That'd be pretty sweet. Yeah, I would like to see something that. I mean, I understand that they don't like the discarding, but you can already do it with the mill deck. But I'd like to see something that makes you discard something.
Yeah.
I would like it if that was in there.
If I were to lift a mechanic from Magic, the new one with Born of the Gods right now that I love is Tribute. It has got to be one of the coolest damn mechanics. Which is basically when this card enters the battlefield, your opponent has to choose whether or not to pay tribute. And what tribute is it's tribute X. So in this case, it's tribute 3. If they pay tribute, that card gets 3 +1/+1 counters on it. If they don't pay tribute, a adverse effect happens to the board.
Okay.
Usually to just their side of the board. So like if
Well,
you don't pay
that's-
tribute, you're the person playing this card can deal 8 targeted damage anywhere or something like that.
This all sounds incredibly complex and probably will
Well,
never
it's-
make it into Hearthstone.
It's not though. It really isn't. It's just, hey, you want to pay tribute or not? I'll pay tribute. Okay, now it's a 5/5 instead of a 2/2. That's not that hard. Or
No, sure.
oh, cool, I get a fireball. 4 damage wherever I want it. It's really no different than the druid cards, except you make your
So you have
opponent
to make a
choose
choice?
which
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
you get to do.
Yeah, that could be interesting if like someone else plays it and then some choice pops up for you. I can see that.
Yeah.
Somebody had asked something earlier about like an ability from WoW or something to get into the game. I'm not sure where I missed. I guess I lost it. Oh well.
Yeah. What is that?
Sorry.
noise?
Ask your question again. Oh, here we go. If you could make any class ability in WoW that isn't currently a card in Hearthstone, what would it be? Ooh. Wow.
That's a good question.
I would like to bring back volley from hunters, which is not a thing anymore, and it would just be like an AOE. You know. But it doesn't exist anymore.
That seems pretty
in WoW either. So.
Oh yeah, I love the volley. That was such a cool spell effect.
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, it's all multi-shot all the time now.
Yeah, you know, it'd be kind of cool. Like I was actually thinking about this. Like the hunter hero power could be something like Call Pet, where like you get some version like it's similar to like Paladin or Totem, but it's like some other thing that makes it separate from the others, which I don't exactly know how it would work, but like they could do something like that, and then it would not be this 2 damage to the face thing that kind of forces their hand. But it would kind of fit with the hunter theme, you know, calling a pet.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they would do it though, because I don't know what you could draw. Like maybe like an 0-1 that like buffs one other minion or something. I don't know, something. Could be interesting.
1/1
See,
with
if it was a
charge
1/1
would
with
make
charge,
it immediately better than the paladin.
Because then the paladin gets 1/1 without charge, so
Like,
the
wow.
hunters is insane.
Yeah, and also I don't know. I don't feel like they're ever going to change hero powers, ever.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. At least, especially not that drastically.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, that's just my mind does. Death grip. That sounds really freaking awesome. Chat room said death
there
grip.
you go.
You
Yeah.
it's pretty much mind control though.
First
right?
we need
Like-
first we need a Death Knight class. Do
Yeah.
you think all classes need weapons? Mages get wands, staffs for druids. I mean, I don't think it would be bad. I think it could totally fit. It's like mages could get like some sort of like a spell damage weapon, basically. That like every time they cast a spell, it loses a charge and gives 1 spell damage.
Oh yeah,
you know?
that'd be totally badass. Yeah, they equip
Yeah.
like a staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like druids could get one that like has some sort of effect, like it heals them or does something. I mean, I don't see why not. It could be pretty cool. And like the mage ones could just be like low damage. Like if they want to actually hit something with it, it's like 1 damage or something.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Sword of Justice in a way for paladins.
What if death I'm now really interested in death grip. What if death grip was like you chose your opponent's minion and then you forced it to run into one of your own minions?
Oh, you yank it into something else?
Yeah, without blowing that minion's chance to attack. So you could basically
Sure.
kill something with that minion, then also swing for face or swing into another minion.
Well, yeah, I mean, they could do something. Yeah, you could. It would basically, forcing the attack on your turn. Like
That'd
it's
be
almost like
interesting.
another attack, like an extra attack.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be interesting.
I'm not sure if that'd be a hero power or not. I think it'd have to be a card. I feel like all hero powers can be used on an empty board, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, priest one maybe not if there's nothing to heal.
Yeah, but you can heal yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
So technically, yeah, it's just if you're at 30.
That's so. Yeah, if that was a hero power, that wouldn't really work.
Yeah.
I do feel like the Death Knight hero power is going to be some sort of like runic something, or like a poison or something. I don't know. They're going to have to come up with something interesting.
I'd like it to be some kind of resurrect a ghoul mechanic or something. I'm not sure how you would do that.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting if resurrect last dying minion as a ghoul or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like dies at the end of next turn or something.
Warlock fear. Yeah, they don't have fear for Warlock, do they? Which is like such a huge mechanic.
Yeah.
They could definitely do something where it's basically like CCing. It's like a mage freeze or something almost, where
Yeah.
it fears them and they can't do anything for a turn.
How would you differentiate that though as a mechanic? Because otherwise it's just freeze with a different word.
Well, but I mean, like polymorph. I don't know, like all these other mechanics in Hearthstone or in WoW are like the same. They're just different. I don't know. Like Hex is the same as polymorph, really.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's slight differences, but like a CC is a CC is a CC in most cases. So even if they're not exactly, even if they are exactly the same, it doesn't.
Yeah, but
necessarily mean they can't
in
do
terms
that.
of locking down a minion for one turn, the only thing that does that is freeze.
Yeah.
And it's the same on all cards that do it. It's called
Sure.
freeze.
Yeah.
Whereas polymorph is some complete. I mean, it's its own card that turns it into
Yeah,
a 1/1
it's a
sheep
different
without
thing.
taunt. Hex turns it into a 0/1 frog with taunt.
Yeah. Will Blizzard ever allow me to spend my extra 5 gold? This 345 gold thing is killing me. You gotta do arena, Hasimo. That's what you gotta do, because you'll get like 35 or something, and it'll all even out in the end.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoops. If you're ADD or you're a little bit compulsive, then 5 gold, man. Ooh, it's got to be driving you crazy.
Rabbit.com has an interesting idea for the Death Knight hero power. Death Coil, -1 damage to enemies, but +1 heal for friendly undead. That could be cool.
Okay.
That functioned essentially like it does in the game, in World of Warcraft.
Yeah, basically that would be like halfway between like a mage, or well, wait, you're talking about debuffing the enemy?
Well, no, it's just 1 damage to enemies.
It's either 1 damage or it's 1 heal.
1 heal.
So it's in between like a priest and a mage.
Yeah. Well,
That's
it is
pretty
the
good.
mage of using it on enemies.
Yeah. It is the mage one, and the other one is basically a weaker version of the priest. But it has the what I think evens it out is the fact that you get the option.
Yeah, but then again, that would then in turn make the mage's ability worse.
I guess so. Well, just by the fact that another one exists. Yeah.
Yeah. and
Well, it
the
would
other one
definitely
has
counter
options.
a mage, but some hero abilities counter other hero abilities already. So, like the hunter hero ability is directly countered by the warrior, and the warrior is directly countered by the hunter. So,
Yeah.
it's not really that bad to have them counter at a certain point.
Yeah.
Should there be 3 hero powers you can select from? We've already discussed this on the show, and I like the idea, but it's probably not going to happen.
Dills really wants it.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to see it. I don't see it happening. At least
I
not
don't think
until-
it'll happen,
If it
yeah.
does, I think it's going to be so far down the line, and it'd be like a huge thing.
It really does create. I mean, the thing is like it creates some balance issues, but I think the balance issues are somewhat solved by the fact that like you'd be basically deciding what kind of hero ability you're getting, and that would mean, like all these hero abilities all exist for all the classes, so it'd be some like crossover, and then they're all still relatively balanced, right? But it would be better if they were all unique, but I don't think that's at all feasible, because how do you manipulate these 2 mana cost things that can be done every turn and keep them all in line?
Have
like
3 different ones for 9 different heroes.
Yeah, and 3 different ones for 9 heroes. Hell no. There's just no way to make that balanced. Like one will be
He's
insanely
such a nightmare. I think somewhere right now, like Ben Brode's thrown up.
good. Yeah, and already, I mean, the Warlock one is like clearly the best one, right? Like, I mean, there already is a clear cut winner, even with only 9. Like, there has to be. There's
Yeah,
always gonna be
if
a
I could
game.
use any with any hero, I would always use.
We'll always use the
Life Tap.
Warlocks. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being able to draw cards, that's just
It's insane. It's,
it's
so
too
good.
good. Yeah, it's way
so
too good.
freaking good.
Yeah, you're like, wait, who cares what? Like, why is everyone talking about Nat Peggle? I just fucking click this button and then I draw a card whenever I want.
But the other ones still are good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But,
like the mage one affects the frickin' board when you do it, and it affects the board that turn.
yeah, exactly. And Tibbles makes a good point. There's no deck that can't use card draw. So
Nope, absolutely. It's again coming back to things that were said earlier this evening, especially right now with all these combo centric decks.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's gonna do it for me. It's 8:25.
All right.
Probably take a quick break before swapping over.
Well, I never stopped recording, so I think I'll just throw this in after the credits and let people listen to
There
a
you
little
go.
Q&A
Sure, if
session.
they want to.
Why
Yeah.
not? A little fun.
Why the hell not?
Hope you enjoyed it, podcast listeners. You want to ask questions live? Tune in live.
There you go.
Twitch.tv/AMoveTV.
Yeah, and if you want to call us a couple of queers, tune in live. That's where you get to do it.
Yeah, and then I'll ban you and call you out on.
Yeah, you get to get banned by
I'll
Garrett.
call you out, and you'll be like, "Oh, that's."
Troll us. Yeah.
Yeah, be like, Garrett's.
Everyone's a winner.
Yep, and then I'm probably.
By the way, I
just-
had my first copy pasta in my chat the other night, and it was amazing. I loved it.
copy.
Bring it on, everybody.
Pasta.
Yeah, you know when people like just copy paste things, like these long, ridiculous things in Twitch chat,
Oh, gotcha.
in Crips chat and stuff, where it's
Yeah.
like when Crips streams, my eye automatically go to the stream, or hey Crip, this is Eddie Pastorino, whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah. One last thing, and I'll let you go. Did you hear Total Biscuits Masterpiece Theater IEM Twitch chat 2014?
No,
It's
that sounds awesome. though.
Amazing. He just
Check that
read a selection from the IEM chat with like fancy British music going on in the background.
Nice.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
All right, I'll have to look for that.
Yeah, it's very funny. So,
Oh, there it is. Boom. All right,
Yep.
I'm gonna totally watch this right now.
all right, chat room. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys.